championship as well.
Very much so. Oh, no! You don't want to see that.
He punched a rival in the face, twice, and got away with a fine his family's fortune wouldn't even notice. He posted a video that made an entire sport turn against him, days after landing his dream seat. And he still crashed his way to becoming the biggest joke on the Formula One grid. This is the story of the man who didn't pay to win a Formula One seat. He paid to lose in it.
That's what I thought. He got a bit trigger happy with the throttle and went off and had his own end.
Born on March 2nd, 1999, in Moscow, Nikita Mazepin entered competitive karting at just 12 years old. He showed real promise early. His best result came in 2014, finishing runner-up to a young Lando Norris at the FIA Karting World Championship. From there, he graduated into single-seater racing, and the start was genuinely promising. A podium in just his second ever race in the MRF Challenge Formula 2000 series. But that early spark faded fast. His form in the Toyota Racing Series and Formula Renault was far less impressive, and questions about whether he actually had the talent to match his ambition were already starting to circle. That didn't stop him. The following year, he made his Formula 3 debut, and that's exactly when the controversies started piling up. During a practice session, Mazepin accused fellow driver Callum Elott of blocking him on track. His response wasn't a radio complaint or a steward's report. It was his fists. He punched Elott in the face, not once, but twice. Elott was left with a black eye and a bruised jaw. The punishment for putting a rival driver's face on the receiving end of a beating? A one-race ban and a $30,000 fine. For most junior drivers, that fine would end a career. For Mazepin, whose father is a Russian oligarch reportedly worth over $5 billion, it barely registered. The incident left a permanent stain on his reputation, and his results on track did nothing to repair it. He finished dead last in the championship among all full-time entrants. He genuinely could not have finished any lower. The following season brought some improvement, a respectable 10th place, and, small mercies, he made it through without assaulting anyone. He was, however, still more than capable of crashing.
In this race, and that's Nikita Mazepin for High Tech GP, who's up against the barriers now.
Talent and chaos, it turned out, could live in the same driver. Then came GP3, and against all expectations, it was genuinely impressive. 4 race wins, more than any other driver that year, and a championship runner-up finish. For a moment, it looked like Mazepin might actually be turning a corner.
Place! Oh, he's into the wall!
But it wouldn't be a true Mazepin season without at least one spectacular, needless crash to remind everyone who they were dealing with. His luck vanished the moment he stepped up to Formula 2. His results were poor. On several occasions, he was beaten by the infamous backmarker Mahavir Raghunathan, a name that should never appear ahead of a driver being groomed for Formula One. Worse, he was responsible for one of the ugliest crashes of the entire season.
Thankfully, Luca Iotto is okay.
He forced Jack Aitken wide, failed to properly rejoin the track, and speared into Aitken's front right tire. The impact launched his own car straight into the path of an unsuspecting Nobuharu Matsushita, sending both cars into the wall in a violent multi-car pileup. The blame landed squarely and entirely on Mazepin. He was handed 4 penalty points and a 15-place grid drop. Compared to what came later, that was just the opening act. You'd assume his final F2 season must have been extraordinary to somehow earn a Formula One promotion. It wasn't. He finished 5th in the championship. He was also at the center of yet another blow-up at the Belgian Grand Prix, forcing Yuki Tsunoda wide and copping a 5-second penalty that dropped him from 1st to 2nd. Furious, he drove at dangerously high speed on his way to Parc Fermé and slammed into the P2 board, narrowly missing Tsunoda. At that point, Yuki was probably just relieved it didn't turn physical. So how did a driver with a resume like that make it to Formula One? Money. Lots and lots of money. Mazepin had already used his father's fortune to secure a role as test and reserve driver for Force India, and paid his way into a Mercedes test session. Then his father's company, Uralkali, paid millions to become title sponsor of the Haas F1 team. And as part of the deal, Nikita got his Formula One seat. The celebration didn't last long. Just days after being announced as a Formula One driver, Mazepin posted a video on Instagram in which he allegedly groped a woman. The backlash was instant and brutal, and the entire F1 community turned on him almost overnight. Calls for Haas to drop the Russian driver before he'd even sat in the car grew louder by the day. But money, as it always seemed to with Mazepin, talked louder than public outrage. Haas refused to fire their driver, instead releasing a statement condemning his actions. A statement that was met with just as much backlash as the incident itself. His Formula One career hadn't even started, and he was already one of the most hated men in the sport. And somehow, it got worse. Bahrain, the season opener, Mazepin's first real chance to prove all his doubters wrong. He spun during qualifying and ended up dead last on the grid, more than 0.8 of a second slower than his teammate, Mick Schumacher. Race day was memorable, just for all the wrong reasons. He looked completely out of his depth from the very first corner, and by turn 3 he'd already lost control and buried the car in the barriers.
Down towards turn 4 and that's off, and that looks like a Haas, and it could have been Nikita Mazepin in the Haas, spearing off into the barriers at turn 3.
It's hard to imagine a worse possible start to a Formula One career, but Mazepin would spend the rest of the season trying. Imola didn't improve things. 2 embarrassing spins in practice were followed by a near collision with Antonio Giovinazzi in qualifying, leaving the Italian visibly unimpressed. His actual race, at least, was relatively drama-free, aside from clattering into Nicholas Latifi, the sport's reigning king of contact.
Going to see the other point of view. Right, that's not Mazepin's fault. That's the car recovering back onto the track.
To be fair to Mazepin, that particular one genuinely wasn't entirely his fault.
Going past in the Aston Martin. Ooh, and that was Nikita Mazepin.
Portugal brought another qualifying spin, a pattern nobody in the paddock was surprised by anymore. And then, as if he needed more enemies, Mazepin ignored multiple blue flags to play block the race leader with Sergio Perez. It was in Spain that Mazepin truly began terrorizing the entire paddock. In FP1, he got in the way of Charles Leclerc before eventually spinning off into the gravel later in the session. Then Lance Stroll, a driver who knows a thing or two about crash barriers himself, became his next near victim, the two coming dangerously close to colliding. When Lance Stroll is the one criticizing your driving, that tells you everything you need to know. And just to complete the hat-trick of chaos, Mazepin blocked Lando Norris during Norris's flying lap in qualifying. He wasn't just losing, he was making sure everyone else lost time too. Even his own teammate wasn't safe from him. In Bahrain, Mazepin nearly swerved directly into Mick Schumacher's path, the kind of moment that makes a team principal's stomach drop, sponsor money or not.
What the f was that, honestly? Seriously? Does he want to kill us?
Understood, Mick, understood.
Tension inside Haas was already boiling over long before results even mattered. Mazepin clashed repeatedly with team principal Günther Steiner, sometimes openly, and on track things weren't improving either. A spin in France, 2 more in Austria, dead last in both. By the summer break, Schumacher had out-qualified him at every single race of the season, with an average gap of nearly half a second between 2 supposed equals. Mazepin's explanation? Naturally, it couldn't possibly be him. So he blamed the car, insisting his Haas was heavier than Schumacher's, and demanded a brand new chassis. Like a spoiled child throwing a tantrum, he refused to accept that his own lack of pace might have something to do with, well, his own lack of talent. His father even went as far as threatening to pull the entire Uralkali sponsorship deal if Haas refused to build his son a new chassis. Money, once again, got its way. So with his shiny new chassis installed, would Mazepin finally become the driver everyone had been promised? In a genuinely earth-shattering turn of events, he set the fastest lap of the following race, in Spa. Had the chassis really been hiding some untapped talent all along? Not exactly. The race lasted just 2 laps because of heavy rain, and both were completed entirely behind the safety car. His fastest lap achievement quietly evaporated with the weather. It was another reminder of the one thing money still couldn't buy him: actual speed. The Dutch Grand Prix followed the exact same script. He started by spinning during practice and getting stuck in the gravel, a scene that by now felt strangely familiar.
Red flag, Max. Red flag. That's a Mazepin in the gravel ahead of you at 11. So caution.
It's insane. Just can't get a lap, man.
Then he added Sebastian Vettel to his ever-growing list of enemies by blocking him in qualifying. And just to round things off, Mazepin once again seemed determined to take out his own teammate, throwing an overly aggressive defensive move at Schumacher during the race itself. Mick Schumacher bore the brunt of it again in Italy. This time, Mazepin dove down the inside of his own teammate and sent him spinning off the track entirely. And somehow, the whole thing got even more ridiculous when Mazepin went on team radio afterward and blamed Mick for it. From there, it was one last-place finish after another. Over the final 6 races of the season, Mazepin finished dead last 5 times. The only driver he consistently beat was his own teammate, and even that win only happened because Mick damaged his front wing in Brazil. With just 2 races remaining, all Mazepin could do was hope for some kind of miracle to finally prove he belonged at the pinnacle of motorsport. Instead, he did the exact opposite. He spun during practice in Jeddah, then launched a violent, needless charge into the rear of George Russell during the race itself.
Championship as well.
Very much so. Oh, no! You don't want to see that. And
the season somehow found a way to spare everyone one final appearance. Mazepin tested positive for COVID-19, ruling him out of the last race of the year entirely. His rookie season ended with a staggering 22 spins across 21 races, cementing his place as a permanent meme in the sport. He was given a nickname that stuck for good, Mazepin. Mazepin was still contracted to race for Haas the following season. He never got the chance to. Because of his father's close ties to the Russian government, Uralkali was dropped as Haas's title sponsor, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And the moment his father's money disappeared, Mazepin was dropped right alongside it, just as fast as he'd arrived. He didn't look happy about being kicked out of Formula One. How could he be, after everything his father's money had bought him? But honestly, the entire saga is almost impossible not to find hilarious. Nikita Mazepin didn't pay his way to win a Formula One seat. He paid his way to lose in one. On the biggest stage in motorsport, in front of millions, for everyone to remember forever. If stories like this are your thing, the money, the meltdowns, the drivers F1 loves to hate, hit subscribe now, because this channel exists for exactly one reason: to tell you the stories the paddock doesn't want getting out. Drop a comment with the driver you want exposed next, and we'll build the next one just for you.